Fighting out of Ramsey, New Jersey, Jimmie Rivera. For the winner by unanimous decision, Jimmie Rivera. This
Welcome back. As you know by now, we start the show the same way every time. And usually I say we have a special guest, but I think there has to be a different word for what we have today because we have one of the top fighters in the UFC, Jimmie Rivera, on the line today. How's it going, Jimmy?
It's going good, man. How you doing?
Good. Trying to hang in there through this whole thing. How's that been, with everything going on? How's that been, for yourself trying to stay in shape and trying to stay going?
I was able to run and lift, but I wasn't able to train and in the beginning. So there was a good month and a half, and you can do all the running and lifting you want, but if you can't, do jiu-jitsu, kickboxing, work with a partner, it's not the same workout. So we finally opened up our pro practice like 2 or 3 weeks ago. We have a couple guys getting ready to fight June 20th, Lyman Good and Shane Burgos. So we've been just training and chipping away and getting them ready for fights, and that's it.
Yeah, and then for you dealt with a neck injury that had bothered you for a while now. So what was the best way for you to deal with that rehab and trying to get yourself ready for the next fight again through all of this?
Yeah, I mean, it was a lot more just rest and certain exercises to do so I could rehab it. But then when I started feeling good, we had the pandemic, so I wasn't able really to test it out until we were able to open up training. So far, it's been pretty good, knock on wood. But yeah, man, it was just tough because everything closed down and you didn't know what's going to happen. You see the UFC trying to have a show April 18th, I think it was, and then try to do another show. I mean, they didn't get their first show until May, which is about 2 or 3 weeks later. But it was just a tough thing to do. I mean, I'm a at this point in life with everything that's going on, I understand, but I think it's like, we should kind of not quarantine the people that are healthy, but quarantine the people that are, elderly or have deficiencies or sick. Let the people that are healthy go out. I do like what Sweden did. They did herd immunity, which is very smart. And I feel like that, that should have been something we did. But at the end of the day, it's not like, it's not really the president's call. It's, CDC and I can't think of the other place name right now. There's judgment call, and he's advised, and he does what he's advised to do. So I'm glad that things are slowly opening up right now, and we're kind of getting back to somewhat normal. I mean, there's definitely not a normal yet. I don't think there won't be a normal until we don't have to go in the store and wear a mask. That's when it'll be normal.
Yeah, and watching that last fight that they showcased. How would you feel with fighting with no fans and, the whole way that was set up? How would you feel fighting in something like that?
Oh, I don't mind at all. I mean, I did the Ultimate Fighter when I fought Bermudez to get on the show. There was no fans there. It's almost like training. So it's not bad at all. I mean, let me tell you, the fans do help, especially when they're cheering or you're the hometown favorite. They're rooting your name. That's always great. But, at the end of the day, the fans are not – I love the fans, but going in there, you have to depend on yourself. And whether they cheer or boo, it just comes with the territory. So if you don't have that element, I feel like it's one less thing to worry about. And at the same time, you can hear your coaches even better. You can hear your opponent's coaches too really well, unless they speak another language. But I think it's pretty cool. So I'm not against. It doesn't bother me. It's not a factor that's gonna stop me from fighting.
And as we are there, when do you plan on fighting next? When do you want to fight next? What's next for you?
I just started back training for the past 2 weeks, 3 weeks now maybe, and I'm feeling good. I don't know really what's next because a lot of people are tied up right now. I really want to fight ahead of me, but you have Jan fighting Aldo, which will happen. I'm not sure when, but it'll happen probably on Fight Island because Aldo's in Brazil and they're not letting people from Brazil come to America. I think I'm pretty sure on that. And then you got Cody fighting on Sansao. You have Stamen has a fight right now, I believe, and then like a lot of guys ahead of me have fights. Corey and Sanhagen and Sterling have a fight. I mean, I would love to fight Marlon Moraes, but and rematch him, but I don't know if they'll give me that fight. If that's something they're gonna give. Pedro Munoz and Frankie Yeager have a fight. So it kind of sucks in a way, not having a fight, but there's also been a lot of stuff going on in my life right now that it helps a little bit to not rush into, like I'm training, but not to rush and only have 2 weeks prepared to prepare for a fight. I would like to have at least the minimum 6 weeks to prepare for a fight. So I'm just training, staying in shape, and helping Shane out. Fight wise, I'm not sure what's gonna happen or what they're gonna say or offer. I'm just kind of I'm just sitting here and being patient. You know what I mean? Being patient because some people want to fight, some people don't want to fight. Some people can't train right now, and that's a big issue. You can't get training partners in your gym. That's a huge thing. Eventually we all have to go back and kind of go back to normal. And one of my main focuses is my school that I own. We're doing some online classes right now, but we're doing a full online schedule actually, but I'd rather be in person teaching my students. So I can't wait to where they give that next phase where gyms could open back up. Even if gyms open back up and it's certain guidelines, that's fine. At least we can open back up, and we'll obviously work with the guidelines and keep our students safe and protected. So they don't have to worry about getting it. They can come in and get a workout. I mean, the biggest thing, everything that I've watched and looked at so far, for the preventative medicine you need is taking care of yourself, being in shape. If you're in shape, you could fight this. And I've heard that on numerous occasions from doctors with studies and stuff. You got to be in shape. You got to take care of yourself, eat right, and train and work out. And what are the better things to do than kickboxing, where it's a whole body workout? You're not just getting, strength, or you're not just getting cardio. You're getting everything: strength, cardio, and flexibility.
And you just started to talk about it, but I know that's something that means a lot to you. So let's talk about the school a little bit. Talk about what that means to you. And
I mean, I've been with Tiger Showman since I was a kid. Has done a lot for me, being the man who I am today. And I own a school and I give back by teaching, and I love it. I love the fact that I can give back and teach and help other students reach their goals, whether it's kids learning self-defense or self-discipline, or building confidence. Adults just want to be in shape, or some adults came in for self-defense. They've been attacked before and they want to be able to protect themselves. So it's really good to see adults help them reach their goals, help them get better, and make this a part of themselves. I mean, being a martial artist, I was just explaining to one of my students, it's that, yeah, we're doing online classes. We're not in the studio. So it means, you're not hitting the bag, or you're not, with a training partner for jiu-jitsu, but you're still getting the same training. It's still the same instructors teaching you and correcting you and working on your technique and getting you better. There's obstacles in life that you have to overcome. This is an obstacle, and that's what it's, being a martial artist is all about. It's, running into those obstacles and learning how to, overcome them and be a better person.
Yeah, and I love to hear that kind of stuff. I mean, I have had interviews with guys who all over, sports, and everyone always has that same mindset, and they talk about helping other people achieve their goals. But as we're on the level of goals, what are your goals going forward? What is the biggest thing you want to have for yourself before your career is over?
I mean, the biggest thing before my fight career is over is that I want, I lost a really close fight to Peter Yan. A lot of people, and I watched the fight over again. It's true. He got a knockdown right at the end of the first and a knockdown right in the second. But it wasn't like a knockdown that I didn't know where the fuck I was at. Like I was, he hit me with a good shot in C, dropped me one time to the knee and dropped me one time to my butt and got back up and worked. But then there was the end of the round. And then the third round, I took it to him, and I felt like I won the third round. And it just, it sucks to see like I was so close, beating Jan. It could have been me getting that title shot, or me one more fight and then a title shot. So I really don't think I'm out of the range. I mean, I'm the only guy that he hasn't, besides maybe one other fighter, hasn't finished. All right, and besides the other fighter that he has finished, I think it was Song Yudong. He dominated Song Yudong, like dominated him. In my fight, he did not dominate me at all. Mm-hmm. So I actually showed him up how, and I felt good. And don't get me wrong, you could tell in the back he wished, he got the finish or was able to dominate, but he didn't. So it's like, I know I'm not far from the belt. My biggest thing is I want to get fights to get me closer to the belt. Fighting someone that's 15 or 17 or way out of the rankings doesn't make sense. But fighting like a Frankie Yeager who's been around that has a name, or Aldo, like that would have made sense to fight them. It's a legend. I got to fight Faber, and that was a legend. That was an awesome win, to put under my belt. So I loved it. So, you see Jan, does Jan deserve it? I think he does, but there's also other guys like Sterling and Sahane that deserve it as well, too. So, it can make sense either way. It can make sense that, you got to look at it as a business. So it makes sense as a business point to have Jan and Aldo fight. But what makes more sense is basically doing, a 4-man bracket, and then the winners fight for the belt. That makes sense as well.
Yeah, and you sort of touched on it. So, real quick before we let you go, as much as, you've had some great success in your career so far, how have you dealt with the downs? Because they happen to anybody in any profession. So how have you dealt with those downs?
Well, you know what? At the end of the day, shit happens, and you learn from whether it's a good fight or a bad fight. You learn from how you did, and I'm a perfectionist, so always learn and try to make myself even better than I was the last fight. The last fight was Jan. I got too relaxed towards the end of the round, and that's what caught me. I heard 20 seconds left, 10 seconds left, and I just kind of coasted because I knew I had the round sealed, and then he called me with a shot, and it's something I'm working on in training. I mean, I don't blame anybody or anyone for losing that fight. I blame myself. When I fought Sterling, my last two fights were losses. When I fought Sterling, I just didn't cut weight right. Had a bad weight cut, didn't recover well, and I just went out there. And granted, he couldn't take me down. I got on top of him a couple times, but I just didn't do anything with the advantages I had. I just, if anybody's ever worked out before, or especially train or spar, you don't get sleep the night before. You try to train, you feel so off and you feel like shit. And that's what happened to me. And I learned from it. My weight cut with Jan was even better, but, I made the mistake of being too relaxed at the end of the round. And, don't get me wrong, that shit ain't going to happen again. I'm working on it every time. I'm helping my teammates get ready for their fights. And I'm pushing it. Last 10 seconds, I'm working even harder than I would be in my previous fights.
Well, I'm very glad that, you're recovering, you're getting ready to, whatever that next opportunity comes. We definitely look forward to seeing you back in the octagon. Thank you for your time today, Jimmie.
No problem, man. Thank you. Appreciate it.